Titles, go.
Trebuchet, 10-minute.
Shit's broke.
UZMEKKI!
About to get kicked out.
A sense of history.
Bikini.
Smokey, 20252.
Washington's balls.
Drunken Zoomer.
Professor Jack.
Hancock to jack me.
What kind of ride is this?
Beating my dragon.
Sitting purdy.
Anorexic mouse.
Spelled M-Y-S-T.
Urine-soaked ball pit.
Missed expectations.
Just a bit outside.
I got nothing. Part 2.
All right, let's do this.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
Corbs. I'm Cav.
I'm Jack.
Guys, what's got you geeked?
Well, I am pretty excited by two things. One of them is the release tomorrow on Netflix of Junji Ito Maniac, Japanese Tales of the Macabre. Now, I see. Wow. You know, I figured Kev would have that kind of look. Junji Ito is a Japanese artist, and he's produced tons of I always pronounce manga in Japan. And what it is it's horror. He does horror, and he has a very, very distinct visual style that for the past few decades has kind of gripped the horror community over there. And there have been some movies. There's a whole series of movies based on his Tomy character. They did one based on a movie called Spiral. But here's the thing. His shit is really fucking disturbing. Okay, in a very strange way. Like you read one of those and you just kind of feel off afterwards. Just to give you an example, and this is one of the stories that's being adapted because they're being adapted in animated form. There's one story about on this cliff face where they suddenly find a bunch of human-shaped holes, like with people like with their arms and legs outstretched, and it's a bizarre thing. The news is covering it until people figure out that they get there and there's a hole that's just their size.
Ooh. And
people start being drawn to going in the hole and just going deeper and deeper and deeper into the mountain. It's fucking creepy as shit. And Spiral is another good one where people start noticing spirals in nature and then in everything in real life, and it just takes over this entire community. It's funny too because in the movie they would point at it and the Japanese word for spiral is UZMEKKI, and they'd be like UZMEKKI whenever they saw it, and which started a thing because we had Avery's old therapist, who is now her new therapist again, a couple years ago when we started going there. Get into the building, there's a hallway that goes down and there's a bunch of weird art. Some of it's like weird, you know, mechanical, broken glass and metal, weird tribal shit, and the other ones are tribal paintings with lots of Nat Geo titties. And we were walking down the road or down the hallway, and I noticed that this lady who's holding a baby and a nipple, and it looks like there's a spiral there, and I go, "Ooh, Smokey!" Well, even after we stopped going there, and we started again last week, but I got in the habit of whenever I see a spiral in public, I do that, and my wife just loses it. But I'm just really excited because this is going to be a fun adaptation. The movie Spiral was a little bit weird because some of the things they had to do are hard to do in real life. I think it's going to work much better, which, animation is closer to the original art form it was created in. The other thing that has me excited is I did an experiment tonight. Because, Damara's gone. It's just Avery and I, which has been crazy, until tomorrow. I can't wait. But we decided to go to Red Chili, the Chinese restaurant on Erie Boulevard, because I've been wanting Chinese food. And I'm like, I think I can do Chinese food and I can do it low carb if I'm careful. And I did a lot of research, figured out that chicken with black bean sauce, the black bean sauce doesn't have sugar. So that's good. So we went there. I got that. They have this big, they call it dry pot style thing of sauteed cabbage with peppers and sliced roasted pork and stuff. It was fucking delicious. I get home, I check my blood sugar an hour and a half later, and it's 118.
Is it high?
So,
Oh.
yeah, I'm like, this works. This is something that I can do, because I was expecting a spike, but it never spiked me. So I'm just really excited to be able to go have Chinese food again, because I haven't had Chinese food since this started, since we started the diet and me watching my blood sugar. So
Yeah.
Red Chili is awesome if you haven't been there.
Nope,
A lot
never
of
been
people
there.
say, well, on all the food groups on Facebook say it's the best Chinese food in Syracuse, and they may not be wrong. It's traditional. You get order takeout, like stuff you get at a normal takeout, and like chicken with broccoli. It's kind of like what you get there, but it's different. It's almost like it's more sophisticated, maybe more authentic. It's definitely not the same thing, but they all taste better. But you can also get weird shit there, like fried jellyfish and blood intestines and some fucked up shit on that menu. It's straight up traditional Chinese food. Like
Somebody
what you
can
get in
get
China.
it there, not
Yeah,
this
yeah.
kid.
That's not.
I'll try it
I'm gonna stick
I'm-
to the Americanized stuff, I think.
as long as it's in
Hot
10 minutes.
dogs.
That's all I.
No
Yeah.
hot dogs. Well, I mean, they have the cooking plates on the table, so they have stuff where you like cook it on the table or it sizzles. My thing, a cabbage today came in this big contraption that had a fucking flame underneath it that had it sizzling and everything. So it's some fancy shit. It's just really cool.
That does
I'm-
sound cool. The flaming cabbage.
Yeah.
I'd get down with that.
I could
I don't
throw
know
that
if
at
I'd eat
somebody.
it. Yeah.
You would throw that. Yeah, I'm not.
You need a trebuchet in there. Just
10 minutes. I get a trebuchet ready. 10 minutes.
Everything's just in 10 minutes.
All right. Moving on.
You've been here for an hour. You
There's
go
a
now.
cat I need to let in here.
You've been here for an hour. You go now.
Hey,
Scare,
stupid.
scare my wife and kids.
So as Hugh just said, what has me UZMEKKI? Sorry, that was my UZMEKKI. So what has me geeked? Actually, I'm very excited about this week, and it's actually probably my favorite. What got me geeked to this date. So as you know, I'm a history major, so the history geek here. I've actually been communicating with a couple of my college professors, and I had an idea about teaching a college course, which is kind of neat. And they said, "What would you teach?" And everyone's like, "Okay, you have history, you have your English, your Spanish, your maths, you have all that. Everything has been done." So I've been actually in the past maybe half year now, I want to say, developing a history course that nobody's ever heard of. So I've been talking with these ideas, coming up with some lesson plans, and I'm calling this a sense for history. That would what I would call it. So you incorporate your five senses: your touch, your taste, your smell, your feel, and your hearing. So you're using all your senses. So, for example, I presented one of these lesson plans to the OCC history department, like a couple of their professors and their chair, and my buddy's mom. That's a big wig up at OCC. Just spitballing a little bit. So they're like, "How would you do that?" So one of my favorite things in history, as you guys know, is the Russian Revolution. So I just was like,
Didn't know that.
"No, okay." So, but the Russian Revolution, like, how would you do that? So, yes, you can say it's July 18th, 1918. They were assassinated, the imperial family. Now I'm going more in depth because I know the bodies were doused with acid, sulfuric acid, so you can incorporate your senses a little bit. The gunman, I've been reading diary entries. He was shaking the gun when he was killing the family. He was shaking uncontrollably. So, like, I'm trying to dive deeper into history a little bit. So I'm trying to find these things in history and just see if I can incorporate like all your senses, like you would have to incorporate it. Like it's a very in-depth history course. It's probably like it's not just a general history course. It's like an elective, basically. You would take probably like a 1 to 3 credits. I would try to do that. What's that?
You've said incorporate so many times, I think I've forgotten the meaning of it. I'm trying to figure out what you mean by that. Like, you're not talking about like licking George Washington's balls and seeing what they taste like.
No.
Okay.
And you're
No,
not planning on
you're
throwing
gonna-
acid on the students, are you?
Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna have
of course not.
sulfur somewhere in the room so they can smell it, and sulfur is a very strong odor, so you can almost taste that when you smell it.
Right.
But I
So-
mean, you're gonna have visuals. You're gonna maybe have some sounds in the background, maybe gunshots or
Mhm.
people
Oh,
screaming
shoot
because they
guns,
murdered the whole
Jack.
family. So
Yeah.
you could have babies crying and
I'm just
So,
trying
like-
to understand how that works.
You would
what
have
you're
to
saying.
incorporate all your senses, and like that's why I said it's like a sense for history. Like I said, I have about 6 or 8 lesson plans written out right now. The Russian Revolution's one, Elvis Presley, like one of his last concerts I was working on a little bit. So just something like that. It's really neat, I would think.
I
What's
would
that?
not take your course because I would freak rate the fuck out and I'd never be able to forget it.
It's going to be very in depth. Like I said, it probably won't happen for a couple of years, but it's something I would like to have on the back burner. I've always thought it'd be cool to be a college professor, just incorporating all these different ideas, because like we can all take history, we can all take math, but it's just an elective type history course for people that, like what Kev said, it's going to be in depth, but it's going to be interesting for sure. So like I said, I'm incorporating all these different ideas.
I'm calling
The
you
way-
Professor Jack from now on.
The way you answered my question, I think you should run for political office.
Hey, you answered the question by using the words in the question.
Basically, we don't know like these answers, like because it's never been done before. Hugh.
Oh,
Like, that's-
okay. I thought you had an idea. Okay, all right. If
No,
you're
this
still
is-
developing it, all right.
It's
Okay.
like a pet project. It's my baby project that I've been working on for a while.
Meow.
It's never been done before. So, like, yes, you can do anything with the history, but like history can be boring with dates and times, and like hearing somebody give a lecture. That's
History's
why
only boring if the person who thinks it's boring is boring.
I agree with that. So when I used to teach, I would go up and down the aisles. I wouldn't stand behind a podium. I would get the students involved. But that's what I would like to do for a history course and try to get people involved with it.
It almost sounds like the cross between a class and an escape room.
Kind of. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
And also, my biggest takeaway in that was you're definitely trying to go for the whole nepotism angle. If you're tapping your buddy's bigwig mom at the school. to get
Oh, of
you in
course.
there.
Come on.
I mean,
Wait,
gotta-
he's
yeah,
tapping her? I thought he just talked to her.
whatever gets him in the door, right? I mean, if it gets him his
both
headgear, he's
both
all
are going to get
set.
him in the door. But
She is the number 2 of OCC.
Ah, ooh.
he's tapping
So-
the number 2, huh?
Who does number 2 work for?
He means butt sex, in case you didn't know. Just
That's what I was getting at.
Oh, I love
all
it.
right. Now
All
that
right.
we've beat up on Jack enough, let's move it along.
He's gone.
No, we haven't.
It's still early. We got a lot to go over here, Jack. Don't worry about it. For me, it's
Mm,
simple. I'm going to go. For me, it's pretty simple. Don't know if you guys saw the message or thing on for GeekPod. I got something in my on my phone last week from a gentleman by the name of Azat. He is the manager of Northern Pines.
Oh yeah,
So-
I saw that.
He's actually going to be listening to the podcast. He saw that we were
Oh,
talking.
you're about to get kicked out.
I just paid it, and then I'm already blackballed. So
Sorry,
yeah,
Corbs.
so he said he was going to take a listen to the podcast because he noticed that Northern Pines was mentioned and stuff like that. So he's gonna take a listen. So hopefully maybe he does kind of go back a little bit and listen and whatnot. So
Hopefully he's got the right kind of sense of humor.
but he does. He's got a sense of humor like we've got.
Oh, good.
We've talked to him for the past 2
Yeah,
years.
poor bastard.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, he's a very cool guy. So, it's just one of those things. I'm hoping he picks up on the podcast. Maybe we get some more viewers that way and whatnot. So,
What was his name? Because I missed that part.
his first name is Azat, Azzat. I couldn't find the message on my phone again. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I must have missed that. Usually I get notifications that we have messages.
I saw it.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why he was like, fuck this, and he deleted it.
He would have to have the right kind of sense of humor, because I actually did say lick George Washington's balls a few minutes ago. That's
did?
something that's never been said on this podcast before.
No.
This is very true. But anyway, Azat, just saying, we're always looking for sponsors.
There you go.
And special guests.
That too.
Mhm.
I'd like to
Especially
learn
on
to golf.
Corbs' new golf segment that he's going to do if we get that sponsorship.
And no, you wouldn't have to stay on for the whole 3.5 fucking hours. You could just come on, do your bit, and then go live your life like a normal human being, unlike us.
Not that Kev's campaigning for that or anything.
We'll have all like long beards and all that stuff on the podcast. Like, oh, we're still recording after 84 hours.
But no, that's really cool. I'm glad they saw that, and I'm glad they reached out to us. I'm kind of sad I missed it, but that's pretty awesome. See,
Maybe
Facebook
Geek
marketing
Pod-
works.
Maybe Geek Pod can present a golf tournament. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm putting Corbs in charge of that one if that's the case. That's-
I'll go if I can drive the cart and drink beer.
Hey,
Captain
look,
Crew.
look, you got to drive people around. You got to drive around and sell the beers, man. There you go.
A beer vendor will be a lot of fun.
Kevin can't because they'll want to know what happened to the product.
I'll be like, I vended it to
you
me.
You laugh when I've been to golf tournaments. People buy shots. I mean, no offense, Kev. People buy shots for the beer girl because it's always a girl that drives the beer cart around. And
Dude, I'll wear a fucking bikini if you're gonna buy me drinks.
we're always buying drinks for the beer cart girls and stuff like that, as long as they're of age.
Wait,
what?
you said
If you wear a bikini, no one will be drinking.
I'll drive the cart and I'll bring a couple of nice young ladies with me, and they can serve out of the coolers. How's that?
there you go.
I feel like Kev, if he
So,
drives a
so,
beer,
so
the
Kev,
beer
Kev,
cart.
are you going to bring Jack's sister and Emily?
I'm not saying.
I feel like if Kev drives a beer cart, though, they're like, "Oh, so what do you have in the cart?" Well, I had this, I had this, I had this. It's all gone.
Got some water left.
I'll bring a lot of stock.
It'll all be gone by you.
A lot of it would.
He'll be driving the beer cart. He'll be like, "Oh God," it's like
Right.
like Bill Murray's character in Caddyshack. Oh, we got a strip texture here.
Oh,
Miracle story over here. It's in the hole. It's in the hole.
get in the hole, ball. Get in your home.
So
My turn.
Yes, it is.
All right. So last week I talked about the garage cleanup and what that would lead to, and this week I'll give you what the final destination is. At least one of the final destinations of the garage cleanup. The NEBDR. That's what's got me geeked. The Northeast Backcountry Discovery Route. Now this is something that some guys have put together. It's a bunch of GPS tracks and some places to see, some things to do. Basically takes you from Hancock, New York, all the way up to Jackman, Maine. And it takes you around the most twistiest, windiest, insidest, outsidest dirt roads and crazy stuff you've ever seen through Vermont or New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then finally into Maine. 1,200, 1,300 miles, something like that total. Between 7 and 9 days, they figure for the ride. I've got a few people that want to go with me. Some that are going to do the whole thing, some that are only going to do part of it. But this is the kind of riding that I've been doing for years. I go find the best dirt roads, dirt trails, ATV trails, whatever it is, and I go ride my motorcycle on them. And if it's a motorcycle, it's not supposed to be on them. It's that much more fun. But so this is an organized thing where you can go and you can look at the tracks and you can see what's going on, and you have something to expect to see along the way. Really cool towns and good food and good places to stay. Great stuff like that. We're doing that in June. So I've got a lot of time between now and June to get my motorcycle ready, go out and experiment with some of the gear I want to carry with me. This will be the first time I've done a ride this long, an off-road ride this long. Typically the rides I do are between 2 and 4 days. Everything up to this point has never really been very long. You know, I go out for a few days and find my way home. Maybe sometimes I get a flat tire, or, you know, something goes wrong or whatever. It goes right. Sometimes they always just go, or sometimes everything goes right and it's just a great weekend. This is going to be an adventure. It's going to be a lot of unknown. I've been to a lot of the areas that this goes through. I've been all over New England, all over Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont. So a lot of these areas this goes through, I've already been to. But it's roads and tracks that I've never seen before. Some mountain peaks, some rivers, some ponds, some private property, some farmland. Really, really cool stuff. So that's where this whole garage thing is headed. It's going to give me an opportunity to work on a couple of motorcycles this winter and get them ready like I used to before I kind of let my garage go. I tear stuff down and rebuild it, new bearings and seals in the suspension, and, you know, cleaning air filters and changing out hoses and patching up wires that got wore, anything that needed to be done. You know, you do it in the off season and then you ride the piss out of them in the regular season. And that's what I'm working up to, and that's where it's going to head. If you're interested in what it is or what it looks like, just look up NEBDR and you'll find the website. You'll find that they have a lot of different routes like this all across the United States, and you'll see how much time and effort these folks have been putting into these routes. And they do it. It's no cost to anybody that wants to do it. They do it for free, you know, and they have a great time doing it, because it's all just a bunch of, you know, morons like me that just like to take big expensive motorcycles off road and get them dirty and fall over and break shit. So
no.
So that's what I'm doing. That's what's got me geeked. I've been working on that for last.
So, hey, Kev, a couple questions about
Mhm.
that. Now, last summer we talked about there's a path that goes across the United States too,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
That takes you through. I think you said pretty much like the upper states or whatever it is, or through all the states. I can't remember. I know we talked about it.
There's a couple of them. Yep. There's a transatlantic trail. There's also the as they call it, the TAT, that goes coast to coast. There's several different BDR routes, the Mid-Atlantic BDR, and then they have the Wyoming BDR, and there's one that goes to Idaho. I don't know if they call that the Idaho BDR or whatever, but so there's different ways to do it. You could just run the TAT all the way. You could run the BDR and do different things. The best part is that there's great places to go and there's great things to do. And you don't have to just get on a motorcycle and get on a highway to get there. You know, you do something different. You see something you wouldn't see otherwise. Take your time to get there. It's not going to be in a straight line. You know, and that's what I like about it. I don't necessarily have to go fast. I don't have to get there tomorrow. It's whatever happens along the way is what makes it fun.
Nice. And then the other question becomes is does it go to like towns, like is there places for you guys to sleep, or would you end up like camping out at the same time too? I mean, I'm sure you probably could do that if you wanted to.
Yep, it's both. So they mark out a lot of the forest lands, you know, state and federal forest lands, between the points, you know, start and finish. And along each one of the sections, they have different sections that they figure, you know, a section is about a day's worth of riding. And they'll mark them all out. And then there's other people that have done it, and they mark out other what they call primitive campsites. So between the small towns where all the hotels are, and those are on the website too. The website has a lot of suggestions of places to go. So if you figure out how far you can ride in a day, you can actually plan ahead and you can schedule hotel stops, you know, hotels, motels, whatever. But all these areas are very, very populated in fact, in this one, until you get to northern Maine, you're never more than a few miles from any kind of, you know, small town or even some larger towns. But yeah, you can do whichever. Friends of mine that have done almost all the BDRs, they always like to stay in hotels and motels. My plan is to tent as much as possible, and I used to do a lot of that. Over the last couple of years, I've changed my gear out a little bit so that I can get back into tenting because I got away from it. But I got a new sleeping pad that's a little thicker. It's an air pad, but it's actually one that I can compress down and pack in my gear. And it's very comfortable. So once I'm comfortable, then I can do it again. The old stuff I had, the old equipment I had, like the sleeping pad was so thin that I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't deal with it. So new equipment, new ways of doing things, and I've changed the way I don't carry my cooking gear anymore. I don't carry a stove anymore. I just get away from that. You go and you stop at a grocery store or something, you get stuff that's easy, or you stop at a restaurant and then you don't have to worry about cooking in the morning and cooking at night, cleaning all that crap up, taking care of that kind of shit.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure doing that stuff takes extra time if you got to clean everything before you put it away, type of thing.
Yep.
It takes extra time from riding, which is what the main thing is to be on this thing, is to be riding, is be on your bike as much as possible.
Right. A lot of guys, they want the whole experience. They're like, I'm just going to go and I'm going to ride, I'm going to camp, and I'm never going to see another human being. Right. Okay. Good luck with that. Right. But I'm past that. A little bit of convenience, a lot of riding, I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, it's great because, and the really cool thing is, if you watch the video, if you're not really into it, you may not want to watch the video, but the video is cool that they have. The BDR actually did a video of the setup of it, and they take you through all these little towns, and they show you some of the cool things there is to see there, some of these cool old stores and what they have to offer. It's really, really, really neat. So, and like I said, we've been to a lot of these places already, the wife and I, and so we know what to expect, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. So,
is she going with you?
No, because she doesn't have a machine that would do a lot of these roads. The class 3 and class 4 roads we're going to be on in Vermont, New Hampshire, mean that the machine she has would not do well. She could go around, but she's already decided that she doesn't want to even try that this time. So, and the guys I'm going to be with are all a little bit more hardcore, so we're going to try to push it through some of the harder stuff. So, but her and I'll have a lot of rides this summer, do other stuff.
Cool.
All right, that's all I had, Paul.
Did I really hear you say Hancock to Jack me?
Jackman. Hancock to jack me off. Yeah.
You sick bastard.
I've been holding on to that the whole time.
I was about to say either Paul's got something up his sleeve, or he has to like poop or something up there. He's like, what's going on up there? I'm like,
what have you been holding on to that whole time? Because that's, you're talking about
George Washington's balls. That's what he's been holding.
Hancock, New York is like the biggest, the tiniest little pit of a town in the southern border of New York, right on the New York-Pennsylvania border. And Jackman, Maine, there's like a population of like 2. I mean,
myself and another person.
Yeah.
My stepdad's family is actually all from Hancock.
So, oh, no shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
All right. Mine's pretty quick too. I just saw something really cool this week. Sci-Fi Horror Fest, our good buddies there, Tiffany, Beth, and Denny, they started doing something really cool. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this on Facebook. They're doing trivia videos now, and they have their own new horror mascot. And it's a scarecrow named Husk, and he's the one that's doing the videos. And thought it was really cool, and it'll be a shame if our folks haven't seen these yet. So the ones that have been released so far will be playing over the ads tonight. So I just thought it was pretty awesome. I'm hoping Husk catches on. It's really cool. Tiffany Beth told me a little bit of the backstory for them. They have a full fleshed out backstory for this character. They have a lot of ideas with him on what they want to do with him. And it's really cool stuff, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself and give away any of their info that they haven't given away yet. But I want everybody to see these videos. I thought they were pretty cool. So that's it for me. So let's usher everybody into the Players Club. What are you playing, guys?
I'm still playing Elden Ring, loving it. Beat my first dragon tonight right before the
Ooh,
show.
nice.
Just
Beat him?
an amazing game. No, I don't refer to
Beat your
my
dragon.
I don't refer to my penis as the dragon. It's not that big.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe you lulled him into a sense of ecstasy, and then you stabbed him in the heart or something. I don't know.
Hold on.
Hey,
It's not Elden Cock Ring. It's Elden Ring.
well, thank you for the clarification. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
Last week wasn't it Elden Ring? That's awesome. I'm still playing Midnight Suns. Still having a blast with it. Unlocked another character this week. Captain America is now on my team. So got to spoilers if you're gonna play the game. Got to watch Avengers Tower fall. That was something. So still, for those of you who like a faster paced game, not gonna be your thing. But me, I'm digging it. So anybody else?
I got nothing. Part 2.
No games.
No, Corbs?
No, I haven't had a chance to get on and play. Then helping mom get ready. She's going on her cruise on Monday next week. So
Awesome.
so yeah,
Very,
so-
very cool.
Your mom's going on her cruise, and my parents are going to Turks and Caicos.
Oh,
Some, like,
so
must be-
now we know whose house is going to be vacant.
Nice.
Vacation.
Perfect.
God.
Party at Jack's parents'
Yeah.
house.
Neat. Yeah, good luck in that. Good luck with that. Yeah, you'll be knocking on all the houses in Camillus. You're like, is this it? No. Okay, next.
All right. Well, I guess that means it's time for Cav's tabletop review.
All right. So this week I have a bit of a theme going on, as I tend to do every once in a while. I found this awesome board game, tabletop game. It's not out yet. It's only in Kickstarter, and it is called The Last of Us: Escape the Dark. This is a game that's based on the game of this. The game is based on the movie, or the game of the same name. The tabletop game is based on the video game of the same name, which is also now a series that is playing on HBO. And tabletop incarnation of a combination dungeon crawl. Those are my words, not really the way they describe it. And open world where each hero must overcome their individual hang-ups. They call these imperfections, these personality imperfections, hang-ups, to become the ultimate survivor. They will do this by discovering new locations. It's an open world concept. Battling horrific creatures, and crafting supplies and weapons that they will need to survive. It's on Kickstarter, Kickstarter.com projects, Themeborn. So Themeborn is the company that's actually bringing it out, and The Last of Us: Escape the Dark. So my suggestion is check this game out on Kickstarter and take a look at it. The entire game is in black and white. The imagery, very, very, very cool. The imagery is straight out of the video game, and with their tie into the very recently released HBO series, we call it a television series, streaming series. It looks like it's going to be true to form. Now, one of the mechanics I saw in the game is this: you have this. In a lot of other games, we've seen this, a character card for the different characters in the game. Joel, Tommy, Ellie. I forget who Joel's significant other is. What's her name? Hugh, do you remember?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember her name. So she's in the game. I think it's her. I might have been the leader of the Firebirds. They were called Firebirds, were they?
Fireflies.
They were Fireflies. Might have been her, but I'm not that well versed on the game yet to be able to give you those kind of details. But these hang-ups that I was talking about earlier, there are these character flaws. Like Joel has this inability to go all the way because he's got some memories of times in the past when that's causing some issues. When he gets over that, he becomes this amazing character. Ellie has a feature all of her own that I'm not going to get into. If you haven't played the game, you won't know what it is. If you haven't seen episode 2 of the streaming series yet, you won't know what it is. If you haven't seen episode 1, you won't even have a clue what it is. But Ellie has something very, very interesting going on with her. She's the young girl in the story. So very, very interesting dynamic. You choose where to go on the board. You kind of choose on the board, and then it reveals what the location is, what it has to offer, what kind of creature might be attacking you, what kind of things there are to gain by being in this location. 1 to 5 players. Let me get I have the page open. Hold on.
Has anyone seen episode 2? That's not out.
No, it's not out.
Oh,
it's
okay.
not out.
I thought maybe they did 2 episodes on the premiere night and I missed it.
No, but I know they're going to get into it just by what I've read. So, and I don't know when this is going to come out. So maybe episode 2 might be out by the time it comes out. Hold on. Whether you're returning back or just discovering Themeborn for the first time, welcome. It's great to have you with us. We're beyond excited. So, Themeborn is the group that's releasing this. They're calling this Escape the Dark a type of game engine. Now, I haven't really seen this before, so I'm not really 100% sure what that means. 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up. They're an adult themed game, I guess. 60 or so minutes to play. They've got some phenomenal little figures that go along with this based on the different levels of backing. Playing this group of survivors, you will weave your own unique story of survival and companionship as you explore an open world map. They call it an open world map, but it's it's a desktop.
Right. You're still going to have parameters, obviously.
I honestly believe it. You don't really know what you're going to get when you go to one of these locations on the board, and that's the whole idea about the open world. Is you're not really sure what you're going to get when what's going to happen when you get there. Beginning your journey in the Forsaken Quarantine Zone. Oh, if you've seen episode 1, you know what that's all about. Your goal is to travel to the reputed safe haven of Jackson while keeping everyone in the group alive. Carefully plot your route through the troubled landscape, resolving immersive chapter cards at each location to gain vital information, weapons, and equipment. Survival will depend on making difficult choices and on tactical use of item cards and custom dice to overcome the variety of threats, including hunters, Fedra agents, and the dreaded infected. As I understand it, the streaming series, I keep trying to call it a television series. I don't even know if people even use television anymore, other than just big displays. But anyway,
TV drama.
It's a streaming series. Drama. People watch them on their phones or on their computers. Maybe they use a TV, but it's really just a monitor or display. So honestly, it is what it is. I'm not saying it's good or bad. But anyway, if you played the game, if you watched the series, then you have a clue about what some of this means. If you like the game or you like the series or you even think you do, this game is worth looking into. I have to tell you, it looks very intriguing to me. They only have a very, very small entry on BoardGameGeek.com. Not much information about the game yet, but it is a Kickstarter. They have over 600,000, 800,000. Where are they at right now? Where did it go? Oh, here it is. 861 pounds. They're British, I guess. It's not euros. 861,076 pounds pledged of. They had a 120,000 pound goal. They have well surpassed their goal. I'm gonna say this is happening.
Yeah.
So that's my pick of the week. Very interested. Again, there's a reason for this pick. I wouldn't have gone looking for it had I not had something to say later on that also has to do with what I said to Hugh earlier in the last segment. So that's my pick.
All right. You said something about a game engine. They're like, haven't we heard like engine building before?
So, and it is so this is an engine building game, is where you continually gain resources to embolden and empower your position, and that may be exactly what this is. It's not described that way, but it does kind of sound that way, because as you move through these different locations, as you finish these different location cards, or what do they call them, chapter cards, then you can gain weapons and resources and survival skills. You can get different resources that you then merge together to build better things, better survival items, better weapons, etc. So as an engine builder, I think this is exactly what this game might be called.
Okay.
Time will tell as it comes out and gets reviewed a little bit better. The video that's on the website is the creators talking about how the game is kind of laid out, and what the purpose is, and how it translates to the video game and to the streaming series.
Very cool. All right. Well, I think it's time we throw it to commercial.
Before you do that, while we were sitting here, we got another message from Azat.
That's probably because I
saying-
responded during the break.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He said, I watched the entire stream last week when it dropped, enjoyed every second of it all. Or you all are amazing. If anyone else golfs, would love to have you guys in. So
Ooh.
Wow.
thank you,
Nice.
Azat, for reaching out while we're recording. That doesn't
Yes.
happen ever.
No, look at
Even
that.
if Paul precipitated it.
Breaking news. Should we throw that in before?
Dun, dun, dun.
There you go.
Great job,
That's
Corbs.
pretty awesome. Very cool. All right, now I'll continue on my spiel.
By all means.
Thank you. So yeah, stick with us, guys. We will come back with the news. Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a keyback issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics. Which of these Stephen King films is the only one that King himself directed? Pet Sematary, Maximum Overdrive, or The Stand?
Now, before you spend the week wandering aimlessly around the house, unsure of what to do because your wife is in Austin, Texas at your job's quarterly manager summit thingy. Oh, wait, that's my week. I'm like a lost puppy dog being chased by an 11-year-old crackhead with dreams of McDonald's for dinner every night. Anyway, here's the news. First up, Leslie Nielsen ratings. That title was weak. It was like the new Jeopardy category from a few years back. First time I watched Jeopardy since I was a kid and that category came on. I was like, what the fuck is this? Trick questions? And I trusted you, Alex. Anyway, so we have the viewing numbers from some recent shows, and they are big. AMC's The Mayfair Witches has turned into a huge hit. The Live Plus 3 data showing it scored 1.7 million viewers, enough to put it in the top 10 for the week. Similarly, The Last of Us has turned out to be HBO's second biggest premiere since 2010, only behind last year's House of the Dragon. The premiere garnered 4.7 million viewers, and HBO states that premiere night viewing only accounts for 20 to 40% of total viewers on average. So we can expect that number to at least double over time. If ever a show deserves that kind of welcome, this would be it. They are both great, but The Last of Us is just greatness on a different level. Next up, not a sure Gambit. Channing Tatum has been known for many things, including campaigning hard to get a Gambit movie off the ground. While it seems he's given up on that dream, reports are coming in that he has another project in the works you might not expect. Apparently, his production company owns the rights to Ghost. You know, the one with Patrick Swayze, Whoopi Goldberg, and the pottery scene that still gets made fun of today. They are looking at a remake with some updated ideas and characters. Now, if I made a list of things that needed to be rebooted, this would not be near the top of that list or on the list. Now I just want to know what they're going to replace the pottery scene with. Making a TikTok video, boozy painting, or how about you replace it with not remaking such a stupid movie? And finally, Roman Polanski would be proud. Fallen actor Kevin Spacey received a Lifetime Achievement Award from Italy's National Museum of Cinema, his first public event since the sexual assault charges that took him down. He thanked the organizers for having the balls to invite him. He actually said that. Since being charged, he's not been able to get any work in the U.S., but has had some luck in Europe. I guess we should really not be shocked by this at all. Italy has an uncomfortable history with sex abusers. That this country would give such a prestigious award to an accused sex offender is right in line with them also being the same country that houses the Vatican. And that's the news, kids. Now, I have a question for every single one of you. Which one of you motherfuckers keeps turning my laundry inside out? I know it's one of you. I don't know anyone else. It has to be one of you guys. I understand why my daughter's clothes come out of the dryer all twisted into inside-out braids. She throws her clothes off and manages to turn every single piece inside out in the process. I imagine cartoon characters disrobe like that. Jim Carrey probably does as well. But I don't take off my clothes like a drunken Zoomer. Every single piece is right side out when it goes in my laundry basket. Now, I can see an item or two getting turned inside out in the washing and drying process, but every single one, every pair of underwear, shorts, and t-shirt are inside out when I go to put them away. I know somebody has to be fucking with me, and I want it to stop. I am losing years of my life to fixing them all before putting them away. I just want to know which one of you corn-peppered fucktards is willing to touch my underwear for a joke. That's not committing to a bit. It's called breaking and entering. Paul?
It's Jack.
Jack did it.
That's too much effort right there. No way. I thought it would be Kev out of any of us.
I did it with your
Mustache
hands.
sneaking away and doing it.
You did it with my. You took my hands off. Yeah.
In other news, Smokey the Bear's zip code is 20252. Back to you, Corbs.
Okay. I was making sure it was 5 digits. That's all. It's just not 210.
Yeah.
I
Good
can't see
job,
it.
John Cena.
So sports. I mean, Wildcard Weekend, I guess, is the big thing this weekend. I can't really say that anything really surprised me this weekend. The teams that won, I think, should have won. I think maybe the only surprise, and Jack, you can kind of back me up, would have been the Jaguars. I don't know if you watched that game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I watched the first 3 passes that Trevor Lawrence threw, and 3 of them were picked off. I was like, "Oh, this fucking game's over." Turned it off. Went to bed. Got up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna check to see what that fucking score ended up being," and I found out that they won, and I was like, "What the fuck did I just miss?"
What the fuck?
So
And there were 3 there were 3 interceptions by one player too.
Yeah, he threw 4, and he threw 3 to one player. So
Asante Samuel Jr.
Yep. So I was shocked at that one. Wasn't shocked by the 49ers. That game I kind of figured was going to be that lopsided. I didn't really think any game would be lopsided. I thought a lot of games would be closer. So I had the Niners winning. I did have the Jags winning, which shocked me most of all. The Dolphins game, kind of the same thing. I wasn't feeling all that great on Sunday, so I kind of had it on real for a minute, and I watched it, and I watched Skylar Thompson throw, I think, 2 picks in the first 3 possessions or some shit like that. And I was like, all right, well, the Bills were up 14-0 at that point. I'm like, I went in, laid down, and passed out for a couple hours. I had a real bad migraine headache that day, so I kind of just shut the TV off and crashed for a couple hours. And I got up, and it was 17-17. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell just happened? I was like, all right, well, apparently I got to not watch the games, because when I don't watch the games, the teams that aren't supposed to win do better. So, again, I crashed. I basically crashed for the rest of the night, so I missed the Giants game. So I didn't see that one. Then, so that game didn't shock me either. I knew the Giants would end up beating the Vikings. What was the game after that?
Bengals.
The Bengals. I had the Bengals winning. I figured the Bengals were going to win, and I knew the Cowboys would beat the Buccaneers. Tom Brady, he just needs to go away now. He needs to retire off into the sunset. They think he's going to come back. They're talking about him going to. Oh, cover your ears, earmuffs. Talking about going to the Raiders.
I heard that too.
That's where they're saying. And I don't know if you know this, Paul, but when Gruden was there, they were talking about him going there with Gruden.
Ugh.
And then when Gruden got let go, that's what that whole thing fell apart, and he ended up with Tampa Bay after that. So, I mean, they're talking about Tampa Bay. They're talking about San Francisco. I mean,
That seems legit.
but why?
No.
You got Garoppolo. You got
No. I just mean him in San Francisco.
Oh.
That sounds right.
No.
I know. I got you now, Paul. I got you there. I'm good. I got you now. But yeah, I mean, you got Garoppolo, you got Lance, you got Brock Purdy, who, by the way, is phenomenal. I mean, really,
He's sitting Purdy.
He certainly is. He's making a case for him to be a backup somewhere next year. You don't
I
think?
honestly think no. I think Garoppolo walks, Purdy and Trey Lance battle for the starting job.
You think so?
100%. I think
No.
so. Yeah.
You want my honest opinion?
Go.
Somebody can go to Arizona for 1 year, because Kyler Murray is not going to play next year. It's that torn ACL. He's out until at least mid-season. They're talking. They always talk a full year till you're healthy from that. They actually talk a lot of times. They talk 18 months. 18 months puts him out all the next year.
Did you see what happened when they fired Cliff Kingsbury, the Cardinals coach?
With what?
He literally put on his Twitter account. He's like, I'm taking a one-way ticket to Thailand.
Yep,
Don't call me. I don't want. He's like, I don't
Yeah.
want any coaching jobs next year.
And you can't blame him. Sean Payton did the same thing. Like, Sean Payton's like, I don't want to coach this year. I don't coach this year, and he didn't. And now he's there. People are lining up to have him be their coach. You know, he had interviews with the Texans. He's got interviews with the Broncos, the Cardinals. So I mean, maybe it's the thing to do is to take a year off and then come back. So I mean, you never know. And Sean Payton, I mean, obviously Payton has basically said that, you know, he's okay with not coaching this year. If he doesn't, he's looking for the right fit, and I get that. I would love to see him come to Indianapolis, but they need more help than a coach right now. They need a quarterback, and if he goes there, I swear to God, I will revolt after I throw up. If Brady goes there.
It just troubles me though. Shane Steichen, the Chargers coach, lets up that big lead against the Jaguars. And then also the week before, he injures his star receiver by playing him in a meaningless game.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't he not fired? I know they fired his coordinators, but why is he not fired?
Yeah, they were talking about that on PTI. I was watching that yesterday. They were talking about they let all the offensive coordinators go, but none of the defensive coordinators.
Right.
Defense let up 33 points to the Jags to lose, or 31 points to the Jags to lose, but the offense is the problem.
Right.
Can somebody explain that?
He's an offensive mind coach that calls defensive plays. It's just a really weird system over there. And
I'll tell you right now, everybody was shocked that he wasn't the one that got let go. And I think he's shocked he didn't get let go. So
I wouldn't want to be there. Yeah.
So, but I mean, this weekend should be pretty good. You got the Eagles and the Giants. I think the Eagles can beat the Giants. I hate to say it, but I think it'd be a close game. I do. I think all the games are going to end up being close. It's playoff time. It's a lot better. The football's a lot better. So you got that game. You got the Jaguars and is it the Chiefs?
Former Eagles coaches going against each other.
Yeah. So you got the Jaguars and the Chiefs. Again, I think Mahomes is going to be able to win that game, no problem. And you got the Bills and the Bengals. You got Burrow versus Allen. I don't know. That game is going to be that'd be a fun game to watch, I think, in Buffalo. So, I don't know. Should be a fun weekend again. Hopefully I get to actually watch more than a game and a half.
And then you got the meaningless game, 49ers versus Cowboys. Yippee.
Yeah. That game, like they were talking about it yesterday, were you surprised that the Niners beat, or not the Niners, take it back. Surprised that the Cowboys beat the Buccaneers, and everybody's like, no, not surprised. The Buccaneers suck.
I'm just worried about I'm just worried about the Cowboys kicker shaving points. He missed 4 extra points.
4 extra points, and they're shocked that he's still on the team right now. I saw that earlier. They're talking about that on SportsCenter. Like, how do you stay with this guy? He missed 4 extra points in the game. Not the game wasn't. If it was a closer game, I think there would be a bigger issue. The fact that it wasn't even a close game, I think that's the reason. Like, there wasn't really a big issue. I mean, if you'd have lost by 3 points and he missed 4 extra points, he wouldn't have a job anymore. You won by 30 points. So I don't see where that. I just don't see that as being a big issue. He's a decent kicker, anyways. So should be a fun weekend, though. I know, Jack, you're excited for the Eagles game. So
I am. Actually, if you watched a couple weeks ago, Bills fans should be worried because when DeMar Hamlin did get hurt, the Bengals were already up 7-3, and the Bengals were charging, arguably going up 14-3 in that game. So that should be a fun game. All of them are going to be great to watch. But yeah, of course, I'm excited.
In this game, the Bills and the Chiefs game, isn't that going to be at a different location? Or is it
this one's in Buffalo. My sister and her boyfriend are going to go to the game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So no, Paul, I did not just say what I thought you was going to come out of my mouth. No. Okay. So
Wait,
no, they should be exciting games.
They're redoing that game, right?
No, they just canceled that one.
They're just ignoring it at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think if it had more bearing on the standings, because I don't think if the Bills couldn't have overtaken the Chiefs, and the Bengals couldn't have overtaken the Bills, so the game really had no meaning. If the Bengals had won, the Bills still would have been in second place. So it was like, doesn't really need to be played. If it needed to be played, they would have played it.
And would they play the whole game or started from where they left off?
They would have started from where they left off.
If the
I
Bills,
wasn't sure if that ever happened before.
If they continued playing that game and the Bills won out, they would have been the first seed, though.
Right.
But Corbs, I think you and I have the same predictions for all the games this weekend. I feel.
Yeah, I don't really see an upset this weekend. I just don't. Maybe the Jags. You never know. I mean, look, he threw 4 picks and they still beat the Chargers. I mean, it's tough to do that every week and come back, but they've had a lot of come from behind victories.
Well, I was reading somewhere, even though he was suspended the whole year, did you know they have Calvin Ridley next year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, this should be decent. I mean, so be fun to watch. This weekend should be pretty good. Hopefully I get a chance to watch. I at least want to watch that game. I'm a Jags fan. I like Andre Sisco, obviously SU grad, or not grad, but SU alum. So it'd be nice to see. He starts there now, so it's nice to watch and see how he does and stuff like that. So that's it.
All right. I want to backtrack a little bit. Jack, you're disturbed about lack of staffing changes in the NFL, but you're not disturbed about an ex-coach declaring that he wants to go to a country known for underage boys being prostitutes?
No, I said a coach should have been fired for his arrogance. That he played a player that was hurt, and then he blew a lead. That's what I'm baffled about. No,
that was all. That was just all just to insinuate that the one coach is going to Thailand to fuck little boys. Sorry.
Oh,
in all fairness, it's also known for a low cost of living, rapidly expanding technology, and amazing food. So,
but that's not funny.
Great food.
That stuff isn't funny. But yes, I mean, I wouldn't know. The last time I was even near Thai food, it was getting whipped into the woods. That's all I know.
True.
I don't want to know where you're going with your Thai food.
Nice.
And second, I think we would be remiss if we didn't bring it up in the sports segment. But a horrible thing happened yesterday in the wrestling world.
Saw that.
Jay Briscoe, one of the Briscoe brothers of Ring of Honor fame.
Killed in a car accident.
Yeah, he died in a car accident yesterday, 38 years old. His birthday would have been next week.
You know, I saw that his two daughters were in the car too. They're both seriously injured also. So
yes, one was undergoing multiple surgeries today. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm hope to God they're okay. I mean,
yes.
I mean, you hate the tragic loss of life and all that stuff. And his brother is in Ring of Honor also. They're
brothers.
No,
they're not really brothers. They're best friends.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Because when I looked at it, they've got the same last name.
Well, Hulk Hogan's last name isn't Hogan, just so you know.
I know.
Wait, that's what I'm asking. Like the real person last name, or like the Briscoes thing? Okay, because you could be right. Because I'm not super familiar with Ring of Honor. I know his tag team partner, who they call his brother, is not. Really his brother was where I was going with that. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it runs in the family. But I could be wrong. And while Corbs is looking it up, we'll move on. Also coming up very soon in the wrestling world, we've got the Royal Rumble. We're a week away? We can change?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They keep just announcing more and more matches. Is this going to be like a 20-hour pay-per-view?
I know. It's going to be huge.
And is this the first time that Mountain Dew has sponsored a match?
I think so.
Yeah, I found that a little weird that we're getting the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. Yeah.
That sounds like that sounds like a Vince McMahon thing.
Who unfortunately is back in the chairman's seat.
And his daughter walked away.
Good. That is good.
So
wait, you mean Briscoe's daughter walked away, or do you mean Stephanie? Okay.
Stephanie. So they go by Jay and Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
And I think it's pronounced Jamie. It's Jamin Pugh and Mark Pugh. They are brothers.
So they really are brothers.
They're
okay,
really
I stand corrected.
So.
Okay. I was under the impression they were best friends masquerading as brothers. My bad.
They're actually real life brothers.
I am incorrect. I will say that once and probably edit it out before the show comes out.
There you
All right. What?
It's twice.
Not that I'll admit to, but
okay.
All right. I think you're good with sports. You gave me the that's it earlier. Okay, so let's move it right along, Jack. To whatever we call your segment again, Jack's erroneous questions.
You are awful. That's not cool.
How can you not remember?
Yeah,
because it's a word that doesn't really fit what it is anyway.
I'm just want to mute you right now.
Jack's word off.
All right. Actually, you were talking about food. This kind of goes with the theme. So trivia will be video games though this week. What food was the character Pac Man molded after?
Oh, I think I know this.
Yeah.
Are we going ahead with the answers?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, it's time.
It's well, he's yellow, so I'm going to say lemon, but I actually think it was an orange.
Cool. No.
Lemon heads?
No.
No, it's something odd.
Good try though, Kev. I thought that too, so I'll give you that.
Sorry, I was writing down.
Wait, so he's a fruit that eats dots and other fruits?
He's not a fruit. Well,
it's a food. It's a food.
It's a food.
I went to fruit.
What food was
there's
the character
two
Pac-Man
obvious
molded after?
two obvious suggestions here for answers. Hugh, I'm hoping you're mind melding with me on one of them. I'm gonna go with pie.
It's something weird.
Pie? No, like just pie?
A
No,
pie. Did you want me to get more specific? A lemon meringue
Yeah.
pie.
no. Well,
No, you lose.
you get nothing. Good day, sir.
Sir. Hugh, you're our only hope. Because
Well, I already said lemon head. So
The reason I had you go more specific with pie because it's pizza.
see that's what I
It
was
is
trying
not.
to throw to Hugh there, and it didn't work.
Namco is my
no,
source.
I got it, Paul. I definitely got it.
Oh,
But I couldn't
okay.
give another answer because I already had.
I mean, I could have edited out your first one.
Yes, but not in real time while we're doing it.
This is true.
Unless you
Rewind.
say, hey, Hugh, go again. I'll edit out your first answer. Okay.
And technically, Jack didn't say it was one answer per this time, but I figured that's just the general rule at this point.
Is it really pizza? Why?
Yes,
Because he's
I-
round and there's one slice taken out.
right. That's why when you said pie, I was like, oh, I think he's got it. I was like, be specific. You're like, lemon meringue pie. I'm like, oh, I think you're going to say like pizza pie. Okay.
Just for
One-
future reference, I will never refer to a pizza as a pizza pie. Just-
No, I don't either, but some people do. All right. So one answer apiece in the future. All right. What popular dining franchise is the founder of Atari responsible for? What popular dining franchise is the founder of Atari responsible for?
Really?
I geared them towards you guys.
Not Domino's.
No.
Got nothing.
That's it.
Part 3. Part 3.
PJ's Big Boy.
No.
Okay.
Is that good, by the way? I always wanted to try that. I never had
No
Big Boy.
idea. Never got to
Okay.
try it.
What TJ Big Boy?
Yeah, we had one in Camillus when I was a kid. I always wanted to go. My mom's like, we're not going there.
One up on the corner of Taft and
Yep.
11. I used to eat there all the time. I had a funny
Okay.
story about when I was there when I was drunk.
I used to know somebody that had the big boy that was out front.
Oh,
I
yeah?
think they got rid of it.
That's awesome. That's cool. All right.
Wait,
I'm
who
gonna
hasn't
say-
answered?
I'm
Everybody's
gonna say
answered.
McDonald's.
No. Did you say something, Hugh, yet? I don't know.
No,
He's
I
got
got
nothing.
In-N-Out Burger.
No. Kev was the closest. Believe it or not, it was Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
It does. Yes.
So there you
All
go.
I just don't think of that as a dining franchise.
No.
Well, you go and eat the pizza and play the games. I know. I was like, okay, that's interesting.
I mean, there was a point in time where they made real pizzas in the back, but you know,
Yeah.
now it's like a
Frozen pizza.
convenience store with a bunch of claw games and ticket bullshit.
See, I did
And urine
DZ
soaked
just-
ball pits.
I did DC.
Ew.
I did Discovery Zone, but I never did Chuck E. Cheese. Was that any good? I never been there.
You know,
Is that any-
you got to specify, Jack. You got to specify because
What?
the new Chuck E. Cheese is a piece of shit.
Oh, that thing is creepy. Did you see the mascot? It's like an anorexic mouse.
Yeah, the old one that was down in Mattydale that I used to go to when I was younger,
I
that
heard.
was fun because they actually had real video games there.
Yep.
Okay. Like, I
And like,
played the
you guys were saying, they would make the pizzas in the back and bring them out to you. It wasn't
Okay.
just like a fucking assembly line.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
but-
now it's like, you know, cardboard pizzas. I'm sure the crust cut. I mean, I'm not going to say that they didn't have like frozen dough or something, but they at least seemed like real pizzas. They were good.
Yeah, these are the ones that Chuck E. Cheese are not good. So
No, yeah. All right.
They still had the ball pit though, but it was nice because they had this big elevated area and they had any old arcade game you can think of was up there. And they had separate rooms. They had the cocktail arcade tables in some of them. It was just a really cool place. Now it's really more geared toward, you know, kids with ADD.
See,
I mean,
like,
because
yeah,
we definitely need a place for those.
the only one I remember that I had fun when I was a kid was Kahunaville. That was a fun one. in
Oh,
the-
I loved Kahunaville, but not to play
Kahunaville.
video games.
yeah. My was like my mom's.
no,
Yeah,
you
she's
gotta
like-
go to Kuna Hill and get wasted and then play video games.
She was like, my
Yes.
mom was like, order food and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't want to fucking order food. Then you just like go to the arcade and they had so much. Like, Tekken 3. Nobody could beat me in that.
Loved that place. I've got stories that I can't even tell on the podcast about that place.
I want to hear Corbs'
Bullshit.
TJ Big Boy. I want to hear Corbs' TJ Big Boy story. But back to you, Paul. That's another time.
All right. Well, I think I was about to throw it to commercial, but then I realized that that's not what we do. So it looks like it's about time to get ready to send this thing home. So here is your weekly topic. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
If your life was a novel, what would the title be?
Wow.
And the boys will give us their answers when we come back. Stick with us, guys. Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics. Which 2014 Australian horror film features a scary creature in a children's book? And that sound means it's time for the weekly topic. Let me reiterate. If your life was a novel, what would the title be?
Can I
Boys?
go first?
Go ahead.
Mustache rides for free.
Of course.
That works.
That works.
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that one, Kevin?
Yeah. Do you want to talk? Yeah.
I've had a mustache since I was 6. Do you need to know any more?
No.
He went Hulk on his mom. He's like, oh, mustache.
Fuck you out of the womb with a mustache.
All right, I guess I'll go next. It would be Missed Expectations.
Spelled MYST?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
All right. I'll go next. Incomplete. So that's the. See, there it is. Incomplete would be the name of my book, I would say, because 34 is still ongoing. Had some fun stuff, had some serious stuff, but it's incomplete right now.
Corbs.
Mine would be just a bit outside.
I like it. And mine was Shit's Broke. What do you want me to tell you? The story of a guy who did just good enough.
I feel like you're gonna be on the jacket cover going like this.
No, probably like
I'm going to review that motherfucker.
a review bomb it.
Oh.
All right. I can't wait to see what the audience has to say with that. Because actually, when we put these up on the Facebook page, we get some responses usually. So there's been some good ones. Both of them. Yeah.
I just have another nice one too.
Hit us with it.
Just reboot it.
That's good.
Turn it off and back on again. All
Man,
right.
I totally should have went with George Washington's balls.
You just love that, don't you? His wooden teeth as well.
It's just chocolate salty
Paul,
balls.
Paul, you got to move your cursor. You got to move your selection.
There you go. All right. So, guys, what are you watching?
I think Kevin needs to go first because I want to find out why he's mad at me, and this is the last segment, so it must be here.
Motherfucker. Okay, first of all, The Last of Us is fantastic. Pedro Pascal is badass, and I mean he's playing the part of a guy that gets shit done. He's not really a badass yet, but he's definitely revered in the show. I haven't played the game. I need to make that perfectly clear. I have not had access to the game. I may at some point in the near future. Fantastic show, just absolutely fantastic. The reason I'm pissed at you, Hugh, is because now this thing up here is working overtime, because now I have a reasonable hypothesis about how zombies can really exist. I have been reading way too much about fungi, global warming, and what that could possibly mean. And that's not good for me.
Why does that make you mad at me? What the fuck did I do?
You texted us about the show.
He said it was fantastic.
That is the tenuous line here.
and you said to watch it. It was fantastic.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong.
Really quick, let me just tell you what I found. So Paul mentioned to me this morning that the opening line in the show. Now, if you haven't watched it, this isn't really spoiling anything because it actually comes from the game and it's pretty well-known information. The opening scene in the show is an interview that happens in 1970. It's a couple of scientists sitting with a television interviewer. One of them talks about viruses and how there's going to be a global pandemic, blah, 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 blah. The other one starts talking about how fungi are really the problem. And in a situation where the environment that a fungi exists in becomes warmer or changes, environmental changes happen and it becomes warmer, a fungi may actually mutate or evolve and be able to exist in that warmer temperature. Now, the problem, the reality is right now, fungi can't exist for the most part in the human body because our body temperature is higher than what a fungi can live in. Not all fungi. There's over 1 million deaths every single year, about human deaths every single year that actually involve fungal infections. So not all fungi are subject to this. There are, and to go a little bit further, there are some fungi that can take over the animal host in a way that completely takes over their ligature and actually controls the animal and makes it do something that it does not want to do. Okay, and that's the part that they talk about in the opening scene. And it actually, and Paul told me today, he goes, I've heard of that. He goes, I'm pretty sure that's true. Sure enough, I looked it up, and it's fucking true. It doesn't take over the brain, but it takes over the musculature of the body of the ant, and it makes it do something that it wouldn't do otherwise. And then once it does this thing, it latches onto a branch, and then it becomes this, it blossoms, it blooms rather, and then the spores fly out and then infect other things, and in that way propagates. So that's real. That's a real thing. And then of course I got into, okay, well, our Earth is warming, it is, environment is warming. So why wouldn't a fungus evolve and be able to survive in a warmer temperature and a warmer host? And why wouldn't it be able to get into our bodies and take over? And even if we're not out there chewing on other people's necks, passing the virus or the fungus on to the next host, maybe we latch onto a tree and bloom, and then all of our spores billow out all over and infect the next.
Can you really think of a more beautiful end than that?
Not really, but man, I just didn't need to think about this shit.
It's scary. It's definitely scary.
It's scary. And it's realistic. It's like the very first zombie apocalypse movie, and the creator of Last of Us doesn't like the term zombie. He doesn't associate these creatures with zombies. That was not his end game, even though that's what everyone else thinks of them as. Because the host doesn't die before it becomes an infected thing that goes and infects other people. So that's where they're not really zombies. I don't know. I just got way into this. As you can tell, I got way into this. And good or bad, the show was great. I think the show was great. And if you haven't seen it, get off the fucking couch and turn the freaking TV over because you gotta see the show. It's fantastic.
Outstanding. I'm looking forward to this one.
Who
But
else
again,
watched it?
like we talked about off mic, this is one that I have to find time to watch by myself because Kristen noped right out at the trailer. She was like,
Yeah, you need to fix that. I mean, this is going to be event television. This is going to be Emmy television. She doesn't want to miss out on that.
yeah.
I'll tell you, I loved it. There were a few things that got me, and it wasn't anything to do with the being based on the game or whatever. I think I said from the start when Pedro Pascal was first cast, I had a hard time seeing him as Joel. I didn't want to make it about race, but he has a different look. Now, after watching it, I love the way he acts it. But two things: the fact that he can't grow a beard to save his life, and Joel needs a beard. It's a little weird. But the other thing is, I can't see him as anything but the Mandalorian now. I didn't realize that until I'm watching the show, and it kept pulling me out of it because I associate him with that role so closely. The other thing that was a little weird, again, was Bella Ramsey. It's all about the casting. She does a great fucking job, but even my wife said, I don't want to be offensive to her because I'm sure she's a great person, but she's really weird looking. And come on, I said it. Everyone was thinking it. I just fucking said it. She's got a very odd look. Like Matt Smith is a weird looking person, not unattractive, but a weird looking person. She looks a little weird, and I just every time I see her doing her thing, acting, I'm just like, weird. It just pulls me out. I don't know. I'm not saying she's not the right person for the role. It was a little jarring for me. Like I was trying to get lost in the world, and those two things kind of kept pulling me out. Very happy to see Anna Torv in something. I haven't seen her in anything since Fringe, and I love that show. The expired zombie that they found, the one that was done, that was almost beautiful. I should say infected. I mean, and it showed like the blooming of the fungus and how everything spreads, almost like it, just like you said, blossomed and then let go. It was beautiful. It was terrifying and it was beautiful at the same time. And man, that is a fine line to walk. And I think we're going to see a lot of that in the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, no doubt. It's interesting how you describe Pedro Pascal. I mean, I've seen him in so much stuff.
I've only seen him in The Mandalorian and in Wonder Woman.
Oh, you saw him in Game of Thrones. You saw him in Game of Thrones as well.
He was in Game of Thrones?
He was in Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's right. He was that one guy that got killed.
The Viper.
Right. And remember, his weapon of choice there was a spear.
Right.
Very, very interesting correlation between the two. I mean, obviously he has a skill, but I mean, he was in not Narco, but it was another.
It was in Narco.
It was Narco.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's been a bad guy. He was a bad guy in a couple of movies. So he's been around a long time. He's got a hell of a freaking rap sheet in movies. So I mean, I don't personally see him as a Mandalorian because we didn't really see him that much.
Well, the guy in Game of Thrones was kind of a smart ass. So was his Wonder Woman character. I guess just when I wish that they had gone with unknown actors or lesser known actors, only so that it didn't draw me out, because when I'm watching something this big, this important, something that's going to be a pop culture touchstone, I don't want to be going, that's the guy from Mandalorian. Yeah, I don't want to be, no finger pointing. I just want to get sucked into the world, and that's kind of tough.
Great. Again, I gotta say it.
No.
Don't let that sway you.
No,
you've
don't.
got to see it.
That's
You've got to see it. This is next level zombie movies, that aren't zombies. Just it's worth it. I don't even know what the hell's coming in episode 2. It doesn't matter.
Paul, something you might want to consider for Kristen too is I read that while there are some scary scenes, there's not as much action as you might expect in the series as a whole. This is more about the characters. They're going to save big spots, but I don't think you're going to be seeing tons of really scary scenes. The ones that are there will probably be really good, but they're using it sparingly.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
No spoilers as well,
And
but
I think you're going to be
go
able to tell when those scenes are coming up. So if she doesn't,
Yeah,
yeah,
go- yeah.
exactly.
Have you seen it, Jack?
Yeah, no spoilers as well.
So, okay.
Last of Us was very good. I see what he was saying. Like, yes, I think of The Mandalorian, you think of Game of Thrones, but you just have to put yourself in, like, he's an actor doing something different for sure. But that little girl, like, she was also in Game of Thrones. So she played a part in that, but it was very well done.
I think
An
she's
hour and
playing the same part because they were both kind of little bitches.
I think she's great. She's doing a great job because but there's one scene though at the end though, like what's going on with her, and I was like, okay, that's very interesting how she's reacting to that. But it's cool though. An hour and 25 minutes you're watching this for a series premiere, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, an hour and 25 minutes went by. And I saw in the next episode, I think it's like 59 minutes, and then third episode's like an hour and 12 minutes. So
Wow.
they're definitely going to go over. I think the budget for each episode is gonna it's like what Hugh said. This is Emmy TV that you're going to be watching right here. These it's going to be a slow burn probably at sometimes, but then it's going to pick up. I never played the video game, but it was very well done for sure. I really like that. So
I'm personally hoping that this turns into some of the better content that that we should be getting. We've, as I said before, like last week, we're getting a ton of stuff, a ton of content out there, but not a lot of it is that higher quality stuff.
Right.
I mean, I consider Wednesday a very high quality, great writing, great story development, great character development, phenomenal actors. I'm hoping that that's what this is that they push it into that. This is a 6-hour movie versus here's 6 hours of content for you to satiate you while you figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life.
Well, that's it basically, because like The Last of Us is coming out because when The Walking Dead ended after 11 years, I was watching that from the start on Halloween in 2010. I gave up on Fear the Walking Dead, and now they have new spin-offs coming out. And it's just like my dad's like, let's watch those episodes. I'm like, I am done with zombies, and I'm done with the walkers and all that shit. But then The Last of Us was coming out. It has some interesting actors that I really want to look at, and it's written very, very well. You said Wednesday, you're watching that. Another show that I'm watching just as a fun fluff piece, as you're saying, Kev, is The Bad Batch. So episode 3 was a very, very, very good episode.
Yep.
Today's episode was good, but last week it was good. But episode 3 though, no spoilers. That was like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. So that was kind of cool to see.
I know.
Oh, so good.
It's a character that came back that just I was like, okay.
Okay, yeah, I know. He'll be back this season, I feel. So we'll see what happens.
I think we're going to see more than just a Bad Batch with him.
Oh yeah. You guys are mentioning TV and movies. Let's throw it out there. Emily and I went to the Landmark Theater last night, and we saw Anastasia. So that was pretty fun. Live theater. That's, oh my god. I did a little theater when I was in high school. My siblings did too. It's pretty fun. It's like Anastasia, as we know, it's a fictitious story. The Last Romanoff, she's claimed to be Anastasia. So the music's good, the acting's good. Sold out theater. I saw a lot of people I went to high school with, but it was cool, like just seeing some live theater.
Outstanding.
Change. 2.5 hours. It was fun. But that's basically what I did. A play and 2 shows.
Nice. Very cool.
Neat.
What do you got, Corbs?
So I did one. I did binge Wednesday. I got through the whole thing. Fantastic show.
Yes.
I mean, I literally
Corbs. So I asked Paul this, and he didn't have a fucking clue what I was saying. At what episode did you know who the master was and who the hide was? How long did it take you to figure it out?
Please try not to give spoilers if you can.
I haven't seen it yet.
I had to hide. I want to say the 3rd episode.
Really?
Yeah. I think. Wait.
No, you might be right. It might have been 3 by the time I had it.
When Wednesday went to the old the old house or whatever the thing was.
Okay.
That's when I figured out that's who that was. The master, I kept thinking about the headmaster. I thought she had something to do with it, and then I actually thought the other kid, the artist, was playing some part with the hide.
Okay. Go ahead, Hugh. Go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Don't-
Yeah,
we're not
watched
going to
the
say anything else. We're not going to say anything else.
I want to see it too.
One of the really fun things that they did with Wednesday was they kept you guessing. Every single episode, my wife and I would go back and forth. Who do you think it is? Why do you think it's that? What was the revelation? What was the revelation this episode that made you believe that person is the one that's the one they're looking for, or whatever? So the really fun part, and this is what I was talking about with the writing, they did a phenomenal job in keeping you guessing, keeping you interested, keeping you wondering, oh, well, they're making this obvious, so that can't be it, but it's obvious, so maybe that's exactly what it is. Right. It just made it so much fun. It just added a level to it that you just don't get all the time with shows. I think the writers did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, agreed.
I sat there thinking to myself, does this character know that this character is this person, type of thing? You're sitting there going, okay, who knows who is what? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just was like, I'm like, does that person know that person is this and whatnot? And it was like, you're right. It was like one of those things where you're like, okay, who's playing the puppet? And there was a lot of
layers to that show too.
A lot of layers. There was some kickbacks to the TV show
and the original movie.
Yes, yeah. So I was very shocked. I was very happy with that. The whole with the two snaps type of thing that played a part for that.
Yes, I thought
the
that was
TV
cute.
Show.
Yeah,
that was. I was like, oh, the moment they did that, I was like, the TV show and the movies, that plays right into both of those. The actress from the original movies is in it, and that is a kickback to the original movie. I was like, wow, they really went out of their way to incorporate everything. And I know what you guys are saying about Luis Guzman being Gomez. I like that. I think he played that part really well, and it's a kickback to the cartoon in a comic book with his style. It's not
the original comic strips. Yes,
right. It's not the TV character, right?
Yeah.
But what I did notice, and tell me if I'm wrong, and this isn't anything that's going to spoil you, Hugh. When they did the flashbacks to the young Gomez, tell me he didn't resemble Raul Julia's version of Gomez.
Yes.
So they even gave the nod back to that when he was younger. So
they incorporated everything. It was, like Kevin said, it was fantastically written. It was well done. Enjoyed it. I am looking forward to
season 2. Yeah.
Oh, that was the best part.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, this if this is a spoiler, if you don't already know this, the very last episode, it's all done, but it's not really a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. It's okay.
No spoiler at all. No.
It's not really. I mean, because they've already said this. The very last thing they do after everything's all done, the show is done, Wednesday will be back.
Yep.
Yep.
And I wonder if they changed it from when you watched it to when I watched the last episode, because what I saw, it said, "It's official!" ! Wednesday will return in season 2.
That's what I saw. What I saw. And I wonder if they did that after the
announcement was made. Yeah.
Well, right. I don't know, because I didn't watch it when it first came out. I just finished it, just recently. So yeah.
So, and then obviously I watched The Last of Us. The only thing I noticed that was when she was sitting in the school, when she was sitting in school and the kid's hand was shaking. Was that kid? I'm asking this question and because I don't know. I've never played the game, but that he was showing signs of being infected. Is that what that was? Am I guessing that correctly?
I think so.
Okay.
Part of the issue here is I don't know how much of the start of that was actually in the game. From what I remember in the game, You start off with her just at home, and her dad shows up, and there's bullshit going on, and then you're all that scene where they get in the car and the everything, the plane and all that happens. I feel like they gave you a lot of backstory that we didn't get in the game, and the producer of the movie. Well, if you watch the little after thing where they do every show now, where they sit there and recap it, they talked about how they really had to make you care for this character really quickly in the beginning. So they had to do a little bit more than they did in the game to give her some backstory.
Okay.
Right. Now, in the video game, does she die? Does his daughter die right in the beginning like that?
Well, now that you spoiled it for Paul,
Who cares? It's just Paul.
He don't fucking care.
Seriously,
I literally told Kevin that earlier. I'm like, I'm okay to be spoiled on this.
yeah,
Like,
actually, dude, everything that you saw is, I mean, it to the point where some people have even said watching the show is like watching a YouTube of all the cinematics of the game. I mean, they're really
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And right down to the lady who plays the lead of the Fireflies. That's the same lady who voiced that character in the game.
No kidding.
Oh wow!
That's
no
awesome.
shit.
She's aged so well that they were able to actually use her. Now, the girl who played the original Ellie is going to show up as Joel's wife in the past, I guess, in a flashback. Or maybe it's she's going to be Ellie's mom or something in a flashback. I'm not sure, but she is going to be there. But that lady, yeah, that's actually the lady who originally played that character. I thought
That's
that was
cool.
Very cool.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool. And then the other show I watched was Fire Country.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I like that show. It's a decent show. It drops every Friday night. So usually on Friday nights or Saturday mornings.
Is that like Fire Country? Is that like woodland firefighters kind of thing?
Yes,
but
but
that's the one. Okay.
Yeah, but the main character is a convict.
Oh.
So there's it's called fuck, if I can remember the name of it, like Fire Mountain Rescue or something like that. But it's a bunch of convicts that are trying to get time off of their sentences by doing volunteer work, fighting fires with actual fire rescue from that area.
Well, that's cool.
The backstory is the main character is from that town, and he's got a history in that town. There's something that happened, and his father is the chief of the main fire rescue. His mother is like the battalion chief, so she runs the whole shebang. His best friend is in it, and his best friend's sister, is also in fire rescue. So there's a whole thing about why he's there, and there's a backstory to
Corbs, are you hitting your table?
Yes.
Stop hitting your table.
That's what it is. So there's a backstory for that whole. It goes into it and explains everything to it. I like it. It's got the guy that was in SEAL Team, one of the lead characters, not Angel, which is David Boreanaz, lead character in SEALs, but the guy who was just played like the co-star, Max Therio. He wrote this TV show for CBS, and
nice.
He's the lead character in it, and I enjoy it. It was one of those shows that I saw was coming on, and I was like, I want to watch this, and then I missed it because I didn't know what day it was going to be on, so I missed the first 2 episodes. Then I watched 3 and 4, and then it broke for the holidays, and I was like, well, fuck. How am I going to watch the show now? So when I got Paramount Plus, I went back and I watched all the episodes because I missed a few other episodes in there from out doing shit or whatever. So when I got Paramount Plus, that was one of the shows I binged right away. So
nice.
So that and 1883.
I think I've seen that that show advertised.
They're advertising it as the top new show, top new drama or whatever on CBS or whatever. I mean, it's getting fantastic, and it's been greenlighted for a full season, so it should be
nice.
I don't know, 12, 15, 20 episodes, something like that. So they're up to 10 episodes now. So
that's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Jack, did you get a chance to go?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Anastasia. That's right. All right. The only other thing that I've got is I've finally started into the new season of Titans. I'm 2 episodes into that. And boy, that gets fucking dark real quick.
Yeah.
That's and the guy that played Lex Luthor, is that the guy who is the Irish mob boss in Sons of Anarchy?
I have no idea.
Titus something?
Titus Wheeler?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Welliver? It's Welliver, isn't it?
Oliver. You're right.
Yeah. Wow, what a change he's undergone, I'll tell you. So
Yes, he is Lex Luthor.
yeah, that he did a great job as him. I loved him. But so far from what I've seen anyway. Yeah. But that's it. That's the only other show that I've gotten to watch. I'm only 2 episodes in. Kevin's barking at me to hurry up and get through that one too, because he wants to discuss episode 6.
Titans is dark as fuck.
Yeah.
Aren't they on break right now, or did it come back?
Yeah, no, they did the
Just
first
did
6
6.
episodes and then it
Okay.
stopped, and they're gonna do the second half of the season. So
Oh,
hopefully I'll get caught up by then.
so like Yellowstone, it won't come back to the fucking summer.
Right.
Mhm.
Bitches.
So
Bitches.
all right. But that's all I've really got.
Well, then you know what time it is.
It's time for Paul.
What is it?
Paul to drop his nugget or something.
All right.
His turd nugget.
Don't touch your nuggets.
The
Those
difference
don't
between
touch
genius,
George Washington's
Jesus
nuggets.
fucking Christ, with you guys.
Well, read the room, man.
I'm trying to end the room for us.
Something like George Washington's nuggets.
Can I now?
Go for it.
I got
All
nothing.
All right. The difference between genius and stupidity, genius has its limits. Good night, everybody, and mega bite me, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.